Good afternoon, guys. Happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I was all decked out in my Alabama stuff. I had my Alabama sweatshirt on. I had a little clip that was in my hair too. My mom gave me, I don't remember if she gave me it for Christmas like several years ago or something like that. I also too, maybe I said yesterday before I went to bed, I found in the closet we have like all of our like holiday like disposable plates sort of like that we'll use like if we have leftover ones from like Thanksgiving one year or Christmas or from like 4th of July or like from the Super Bowl, like we had football ones. We keep them in a box in our closet, our like front hall closet. And so like I said, I found that I found them in there. And also too, I have a little Alabama like pennant banner sort of little thing, and so I also set that up. It was a very disappointing national championship game, guys. A little upset, but I actually am very happy at how productive I was, because I knew I was like, I'm gonna watch that pretty much uninterrupted. Like I wasn't planning on like editing or doing anything like that. And yesterday when we were watching the football games, since Matthew's only gonna be here I think until Wednesday, so we were playing like Minecraft while he was like here yesterday while we were watching the football games. And so like I said, I think he's leaving to go back to school on Wednesday. Although his first week back to school is going to be online, it's really actually quite weird right now because of like a lot of like schools and stuff like that right now are moving to being online. Like Matthew's whole college, the first week back they're going to be online, and the elementary schools in our like district for our town, the elementary and the schools in the middle school are all in one district, and the high school is in a separate district, and I think it's its own district too. Like it doesn't have any other like schools that fall under it. It's just the high school. But the elementary and middle schools are all in our town, so that's why they are all in one district. The high school is as well, but it is a feeder from other schools as well. Like there's a smaller town that's next to us that doesn't have a high school, but it does have a middle school. And so all the kids that go to that middle school, like 90% of them probably will wind up going to the high school, unless they most likely are going to private school. I think really that's the only exception. I think that it does feed the high school, and there's one or two other schools as well. Like one of Jack's friends actually also lives out of town, but he's like within the boundary to go to the high school. So even though he doesn't live in the town, he goes to that high school, which is sort of weird because like our high school is actually probably one of the smaller ones. And it's funny too, because then again, some of the other towns that are around us have like 2 or 3 high schools in them, whereas we just have one, and ours actually seems small compared to all of the other schools that are around us. But it is one of the ones that, like I said, like get fed into from other towns. And so you'd expect this to be probably a little bit of a bigger school. It's actually not. Anyways though, but yeah, so the elementary and middle schools are all e-learning right now. I don't know if that is permanently, like not permanently, but I don't know if there was like a specific like just for 1 week or you know just specific time or anything like that, or it's like to be determined sort of thing. But I did hear that those were moving to being, like I said, e-learning again and online and not in-person schooling. However, and like I said, that's the same for Matthew's college, which is not in the same town as us. He's about like an hour away. However, like I was saying, Jack is still in person, and the thing that he is very upset about right now is that he has to do swimming. And he's like, how is this supposed to work? How are we supposed to swim? We can't swim with masks on. Like I said, Jack's very like trying to get out of this so bad. I don't even think he really realizes that, like, again, Matthew's not actually going back to class or anything like that, but he's just like, you know, we shouldn't be swimming. Just because he totally does not want to swim right now. And he's actually never had to swim, which I found so weird. I had to swim all 4 years of high school. The only exception was for 1 semester when I had health, which all freshmen have to have, so that is the only exception for actually all students. Other than that, every class, well, it's weird. It changed. It was originally, I think, only supposed to be freshmen were supposed to swim, and then maybe sophomores. But then again, so also if you took driver's ed, that was the other exception. So I guess it was a full 2 semesters or like 1 year, but you would take your sophomore year, you would take driver's ed, your freshman year you take health. And so you would only have, like, I guess technically 3 full years of gym class, you know, or 6 semesters worth of gym class. And so originally when I first started going to school, it was only supposed to be just for the freshmen, and maybe the sophomores were also supposed to swim. I remember thinking like, oh, I'll get it out of the way with my freshman year and I won't have to swim again. Well, they changed that, and then they made it mandatory where all gym classes pretty much had to swim regardless. And I found it really weird because although Jack has been in like strength training, like advanced strength training or something like that, and different like lifting classes for, it's like to aid in any students that are taking like a sport after, you know, like in that school year. For either if it's their season that they are in that sport or not. So like Jack was last semester because of football, but this semester he's not. Although I do think he is probably going to do track again. But anyway, so like, I forgot where I was going with it. Anyways, he hasn't had to swim for whatever weird reason so far. He didn't have to take like freshman PE, which is normally what you have to take, or sophomore PE, because he was always taking the strength training instead of just the generic one, which you have to take like your freshman year and your sophomore year. At least again, that was always how it was for us, and I think for Matthew even too is the same way. And even some of my friends that I knew that took those, like I said, like lifting classes, like strength, advanced strength, I don't know, just there's some pre-advanced strength now or something. I don't totally know, but he's like, it's really confusing and they're supposed to be changing it like by next year or something. But I knew a couple friends that took it, they still had to swim. And so I don't know like how or why Jax had never had to swim, and like I said, this is, and like maybe he would have had to last year is what my thought is, or again like at some point, but he's been out of school for 2 years, and you know, or pretty much whatever it's been, and so like maybe that's been why. Like I don't know if maybe last semester they had a thing where none of the kids were allowed to swim, or again like last year or something like that, which I think maybe was the case, so maybe that's why. But like I said, for whatever reason, he is just very upset that all of a sudden now he has to swim, and he like didn't know that like I said, you had to swim. And I was like, it's weird that you haven't had to yet, because Matthew was like, yeah, like we had to regardless of if we were in strength too. And I think it was the same thing too, even Matthew did like his last couple of years of school as well. So it wasn't just like it was new or this changed or anything like that, like even he had to do it. But Jack is, like I said, very not happy that he has to swim now. But I will be totally honest, guys, I was never a great swimmer. I was really good, I could hold my breath underwater, I could you know, doggy paddle and tread water, you know, again probably somewhat to save my life, but I would only ever do it at my friend's pool, because I really learned how to swim in a pool that I could still stand in. So it was never like anything like challenging, like, oh, I went into a deep end where like I couldn't even swim. Like I swim tons when I was little. I like I said, somewhat learned how to swim, but it was always that like if I felt like I couldn't swim anymore, I'd just stand up because I could. It was like a 6-foot deep pool or something like that. So or 5 feet, no, 4 foot maybe, something like that. I'm trying to think. I'm like 6 feet. No, that would definitely, I wouldn't have been able to stand up in that. I think it was like a 4-foot deep pool. So because I could, like I said, stand in it. So like I said, every once in a while, like I go to like a different pool or something like that. Like my friend had a party one year for her birthday. We went to this like swimming place, and like I said, you know, have been to other pools and stuff like that, but like, you know, I just sort of maybe more or less hang out in the shallow end or somewhere where I could stand up. I never like specifically was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in the deep end. So like I said, I never really like challenged myself, I guess, and I was always really scared to like, again, go swimming in like a deep end pool where I might not be able to stand up if I needed to. But honestly, over my years of having to take swimming in gym, I will say genuinely, and it seemed like it was the last year because I really liked my teacher, and she really sort of like made it like we would go to different stations sort of too, and like sort of learn different things. And even though I knew how to do them, it was just like, you know, like I felt like, okay, all of my friends are here. If I like all of a sudden just like can't swim anymore, like somebody's gonna help me. The teacher is right there, she's going to help me, sort of thing. And again, it wasn't like, you know, like I was just by myself. or again, like, you know, just sort of like doing it on my own. It was like, this was like instructional. And so like I said, I at first was learning to swim across the pool with like just a like a kickboard sort of thing, and she said that that was totally fine, you know, you could do it or whatever. And then by the end of that last semester, my senior year, I was able to actually swim the entire length of the pool. Again, really slow. I was you know, not setting any records or anything like that, but I was able to actually do it without using that. I felt like it was such an accomplishment, just because, again, I was like, I didn't think I could actually do this. Like, I was still really scared to be able to swim. Like, my dad could only swim underwater for some reason. He could never like keep his head above water, so he just like, again, like go and just stay underwater the whole time and then come up, and he like couldn't swim. Like, he couldn't actually like tread water, never learned how to do it. My mom did, but my dad always really stunk at swimming, and I sort of thought that was how I was going to be as well. Like, I'm not, again, setting any records, but I never thought I'd be able to get across a pool back and forth, you know, in a deep end where I can't actually stand up without like a kickboard or something like that. And I was so surprised and so proud of myself for being able to do that. Can't say I learned a lot of things in gym class, but that was one thing that I felt like I actually did learn, and I was very proud of myself for, like I said, learning it, and felt like I actually, like I said, gym class, I feel like you don't learn a lot of things. It's sort of just to keep you healthy. And you know, like, again, I felt like I actually did learn something, and again, you know, probably could save my life if I was ever on a boat that, you know, capsized and I needed to be able to tread water long enough for somebody to hopefully come and rescue me. And that's exactly what I told Jack too. I was like, you know, they're not gonna just like throw you in the deep end and be like, okay, go swim. You know, like, tons of those kids don't know how to swim either. Like, again, tons of my friends still only use just the kickboard the entire time. Like, I was, you know, again, finally felt up to that confidence level where I could swim the entire length of the pool and not be freaked out or scared, or, you know, being like, okay, we're in the deep end, I'm going to drown now. But it was, again, using those stations, I felt like, to sort of help me. Like, again, it was like, okay, we're going to go in the deep end and you guys can be really close to the edge of the pool, but we want you to tread water, you know? So, like, if you have to, you can only do it for like 30 seconds and you have to grab on to the edge of the pool, like, go ahead and do that, you know, sort of thing. So it like helps get you comfortable to be able to, like I said, actually do the whole entire thing. And then that's when I was like, I can actually keep doing this. And again, I ended up doing it for like several minutes, and then I was like, if I could do this for several minutes in the deep end, I could swim the whole length of the pool without, again, being freaked out or being like, I'm gonna drown because I can't touch the bottom, you know, if I have to stop swimming or something like that. And I didn't. So like I said, I felt like it did help me, and that's what I told Jack. I was like, you know, unless you have some really, really mean teacher, I doubt that they're going to just throw you in the pool and be like, okay, go ahead, survive, you know, sort of thing. They're there to teach you. So like I said, I also felt like I had a really helpful teacher too. Like, it was my last 2 years of high school that I had the same gym teacher, and like I said, really liked her and was able to actually learn swimming from her. So, and it was only for I think 2 or 2.5 weeks or something like that we had to do it. It wasn't like the entire semester or anything like that. Then we'd go back to doing our regular gym class that like we picked out. So Jack will go back to doing his strength training, which he also does later after school too. He also does a separate lifting class as well. So he lifts like twice a day, sort of. I don't know exactly entirely what they do in the gym class, but they do lift after school for like an hour because of football. But even though I think it's open to any kids that want to do it for sports, but like they really like try and get the football kids especially to go and do it. So again, I do feel like I could probably swim to save myself, which is a good thing. And I did learn swimming from school, and that is one thing that, again, I like, one of those things where I'm like, I probably don't remember a lot of what physics taught me, or like, again, like formulas for chemistry, but I do still know and remember, and, you know, have confidence in myself that I can swim. Now, if the water's really choppy and, you know, I'm out at sea somewhere, I don't know that I'd be able to, but again, I felt like it did help me a lot. And like Matthew even too sort of said the same thing. He was like, I learned a lot more and was able to feel more confident in my swimming abilities, even if, again, we're not going to be, you know, on the school swim team, but you know, again, it's that confidence of being able to do it and learning in, again, that like time that they give you to practice those like skills of actual swimming. My freshman year, the teacher I had, I absolutely could not stand, and like I said, they didn't end up breaking it down the same way the other teacher that I had did, and so that's why my freshman year I was like, nope, I hate this, I don't ever want to do swimming again. But then after that, when I had a teacher that I felt like actually did sort of help more, and again, I think that that was how they then implemented it, so that they taught the same sort of swimming skills that you need to use, like I said, for, you know, like actual swimming, instead of, again, like our freshman year, it was sort of just like, okay, like go have free time, okay, today we're gonna learn how to, like, they made us go in canoes one time, or not, was canoes, I think, kayaks, something, I think kayaks are bigger. I think it's a canoe, little like thingy or something like that, and that was one of them. And another day they were like, okay, we're gonna make everybody dive off the diving board. I was not there that day, so I didn't actually have to do that. But like I said, those are the type of things that like I felt like weren't helpful, and that's why, you know, like they didn't actually teach me a skill to, like I said, like learn how to paddle, doggy paddle, like learn how to tread water. Like I said, there were other certain things that I don't entirely remember doing. Like they made us swim the length of the pool sometimes in the shallow end just so that we could practice or whatever it was. But they had like different stations for us to do, and again, I felt like those were the helpful ones and useful in those classes, and were better for me to learn when I was, like I said, with a different teacher, and when they implemented the skill-based sort of like learning versus the first teacher. And again, I think it was just they didn't like have that structure set in place. Like the entire like gym classes didn't have those set in place. It was just the gym teacher would just teach you whatever they wanted to, sort of thing. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna take a shower and get to bed. But anyways, Jack is still not happy about having to swim, but I'm just hoping that he tries to take what is given to him and hopefully sort of learn it. And it's not like he hasn't been to a pool or anything like that, but he's just like, I just don't know how to swim, really. So, you know, and probably like that embarrassment too of like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna be embarrassed if I don't know how to swim and all the other kids do. Like, you know, I was like, believe me, I was probably one of the actual better swimmers. Like, not great, but maybe a little bit one of the better swimmers in the class, and I still could not hardly swim at all. So I was like, believe me, like I was like average probably, and there were still kids below me that like couldn't even, like, you know, didn't even want to swim in the deep end. They were like, nope, like I'm gonna hold on to the edge the entire time, you know, sort of thing, because they just didn't, you know, or weren't used to that or whatever. And so, you know, again, it was sort of that encouragement, but they still got to learn the skill sort of, you know, thing and stuff like that. So again, anyways, I'm gonna take a shower and get to bed. I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.